Hi, and welcome back to the ghbond channel. We're going to do a little RMSL update. Haven't done one in over a month, and it's time. I can see from the comments on StockTwits some people don't know what's happening. I guess got to bring them up to speed. So it might be helpful if we start with a little review. Now, a while back, when RMSL was over 3.5 cents, I said on StockTwits that RMSL doesn't have any business being at 3.5 cents. And they laughed. But the market said, next, I said, the OTC QB listing upgrade won't make any difference in the share price. And they said, you're crazy. But the market said, quite obviously, the OTC QB, if anything, was a negative for the market. So obviously you can see that I have a little bit of experience that leads me to make some rather novel judgments that don't always go along with the crowd of cheerleaders. So now that I've told you that I know what I'm talking about and you should probably listen to me, I'm going to tell you I'm not giving you any financial advice here. Other than the one thing, and I don't pull any punches on this, RMSL is extremely risky. You should expect that there's a possibility that you will lose pretty much every penny that you put into this penny stock. So with that warning, let's go on with the video. So what's next for prices? Well, if you were a subscriber to this channel, you already know the answer because I told you some time ago when we failed up here to get our FDA approval that the next likely trajectory was down in this area, which is the consolidation area that RMSL tends to rest in while it's waiting for something to happen. You can see we fell into that area. We had the dead cat bounce. And now we're back down in that area. So what are the bounds of this area? Well, we have a low here that happened after the panic sell of 1.4 cents. Today I think it got down to 1.49. Now, I don't want to say 1.4 cents is solid because this is RMSL, and RMSL's thin and it can move a lot in a hurry. So it could go down to 1.32 just as easily as 1.4 if the right sell order hits at the right time. But in this area we're in, anywhere probably under 1.5 cents is probably a good place to start adding to your position. And of course, down at 1 penny, you know what's waiting. Hopefully everybody who's been following me for any period of time knows that 1 penny is where the big fish lurk, and that's where we buy all the RMSL that the market wants to sell us. So I doubt we're getting down there this time, but I'll be waiting. So what's new with RMSL? Well, they've actually been meeting with the FDA. They're actually trying to make a plan before they execute. Imagine that. Also, they're continuing to work on new products. Now, somebody had picked up on the concept that maybe the FDA wasn't exactly playing fair with RMSL and asked Tom if he thought that RMSL was being blackballed. You can see his answer down here. We will get FDA approval. Well, he's the CEO. What's he going to say? Yeah, I'm worried that maybe those guys are never going to approve us. Of course not. He's going to say that, so that's not unexpected. Also, I saw on the StockTwits board that somebody got a reply from Tom saying that they wanted a full face mask to help with snoring. Tom replied with, I will have something that could solve your problem in 6 to 8 weeks. So obviously he's probably being freed up a little bit now that he's got a little bit more help to work on some new products, which is always a good thing. So when will we get FDA approval? Now, my original take after we bombed last time was that we'd get it Q3, Q4, so towards the end of this year. Now half of Q3 is basically gone, and so we're kind of getting late without any guidance from the company. Could slip into next year, but really to answer this question, we need some company guidance, and they're probably in no hurry to give it. Obviously, they don't want to just have another deadline that just slips on by. This is my original thinking. This is kind of their history, and it always ran in 2 quarters, Q3, Q4 of 2021, Q1, Q2 of 2022, and so on. So that's why I was thinking Q3 and Q4. But at this point, they're in the planning phase. They still have to do testing. and then submittal and approval. We don't know how long the submittal and approval is going to take. We don't know if that's going to be a long period or if it's going to be expedited because they've been through this a couple times already. And they have additional help on board now in the form of a consultant who's supposed to help them get the FDA approval quicker. But we can pretty much say that planning, testing, submittal, and approval sounds like more than 4 more months of effort at this point without guidance. So I could easily see this slipping into next year, which means that we will spend a little bit of time down here in the consolidation range. We already talked about the low maybe being 1.4 cents, and we've seen, it might get up to mid 2s or 3 cents on the upside. If there's any kind of a reasonable schedule put forward, that will remove uncertainty, and anytime you remove uncertainty, even if it says we don't expect to be approved until March of next year, at least at that point you have the uncertainty removed and you have something that you can shoot for, and that should help the stock move off the low end of the range. In summary, I know this has been a long and winding road for us investors, and we're just going to have to hang in there because there's nothing else we can do. It's going to take however long it's going to take and all those good cliches. So I'm on there with you, and I'm going to keep adding because I think ultimately the payoff is still there. As I mentioned before, I haven't lost my concern. Even though Tom has said we will get FDA approval, I still think there's a possibility that that could be problematic. So the next time we run up close to FDA, I will be taking some money off the table. I don't mind saying. And that's okay because I'll still have plenty of shares to make millions of dollars at the end of the road. So here's to the journey, and we'll get together hopefully someday at the journey's end. Till next time, this is ghbond saying enjoy the ride.